Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're seeing me for the first time, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so very much. If you're watching me and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please ensure that you subscribe to my channel. Do not make this your last time here. If you're in the category of those who just watch my content and leave without subscribing, please ensure to subscribe. I really need you to help me grow and also keep me motivated in pushing out content, so you can enjoy my channel as well. Now guys, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to show proof of funds for your USA F1 student visa interview. Now, proof of funds is something or a question that you should expect during your visa interview, and I have made a couple of videos sharing tips and secrets to passing your visa interview process or at the embassy. I've also talked about my experience, the things that I believe I did that made me pass my visa interview, as well as sharing little tricks here and there, what you can do to make yourself better and to stand out. All right, so if you've not seen any of those videos, ensure to search through my channel and you see those videos as well. So in today's video, I just felt like this is one question that people are struggling with because maybe they don't understand what is expected of them. And so how then can you show proof of funds during your visa interview? Today, I'm going to answer that question. So you'll be learning the questions that you are supposed to expect during the F1 visa interview that is related to showing proof of ties. Sometimes people leave the embassy and they'll be like, okay, the VO did not ask me questions that relates to showing proof of funds, even when I have all the money. The reason is because you were not listening, you were not observant, you didn't understand that you've been asked, either in a different format, you did not take notes. But this video would help you point you to those questions that you should expect when they're asking about proof of fund. Okay, so the next thing that you learn is how to answer those questions, and you also learn the type of fund you need. You also learn how much funds you need for the visa interview. You also learn the people that can fund you. Who are these persons that can fund you so that your visa will be approved? How long should you have such an amount in your bank account? You learn that today. What documents are needed to show proof of fund? You learn that as well in today's video. And you also learn secrets to answer proof of funds questions in this video. Now, if this sounds interesting, you want to learn more, you want to better prepare yourself for your visa interview, then of course continue to watch this video, and I can't wait to share all the tips that I know from experience, from knowledge, and from research, and from my years of coaching and helping other people as well. So let's dive right into today's video, shall we? So guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Valin Ose Ovara. I came here in 2018 December for my master's in cybersecurity. I graduated in December 2020. So I'm a graduate, I'm an international student. I pretty much share my experiences here as an international student on my channel. So I also share the stories of others as well, just to inspire, motivate, and keep you prepared for your study abroad journey. Now, if this sounds interesting, please ensure to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to join my Telegram community of aspiring and current international students as well. The link is in the description down below, and you can join my mailing list, which will also give you access to never heard before stories about my life here, freebies, resources, and tips and tricks that do not make it here to YouTube. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, Valin Ose, Pass My Visa Interview, the same network on all social media platforms to stay connected. So guys, let's move on to today's video. The first thing we're going to be talking about are the questions to expect. Now, when you get to the embassy, when you hear these questions I'm going to be mentioning after now, those will point you to knowing that they are listening or they are waiting for you to prove to them that you have adequate funds for your program in the United States of America. One of such questions would be something like this: who is sponsoring you? Now, who is sponsoring you is just them trying to find out the weight of your sponsor, the capability of your sponsor, what your sponsor does for a living, how much why he's sponsoring you, and why he's able to foot such a bill. And the only way that you can prove that your sponsor can foot that bill or your study abroad journey is that you're providing a bank statement that shows adequate funds to foot that be, right? So that's how you can, that's what they are looking out for when they ask you this question. Maybe I'll focus more on answering these questions at the tail end of the video, but I'm just going to be listing out the questions that you should expect, that is related to proof of funds. So the next question is, what does your father do? When they're asking you what your father does, they are trying to figure out if your father, maybe you've presented a bank statement that is showing that you've already told them that your sponsor is your father, and then they've seen your bank statement. They want to know, what does your father do for a living? And if your father is a farmer, for example, and you're giving them a statement that is saying $25,000, that would automatically be a red flag, because to be like, how much do farmers make in Nigeria? And if they are giving you that amount of money, how else would they be able to survive? Would the family be stranded because of your study abroad journey, or you as an individual will be stranded because at some point maybe this money they might take some part of it and help other people? So they want to know what the source of income is for your sponsor, whoever that person is. So when you ask that question is just asking for you to ensure or convince them that regardless of the fact that I'm coming for my master's here, or my undergraduate, or my PhD, whatever it is, my sponsor can take care of me, and that will not affect anything. It will not affect my family, it will not affect my siblings or anything like that. So that's what is expected of you. So the next question is, how many siblings do you have? Now when they're asking you this question, maybe they've gauged that your father is maybe a petty trader, or your mother is a petty trader, or something like, or a teacher. How much do teachers earn? And how many siblings do you have? So let's say you have like 5 siblings, and if you have 5 siblings and they are spending this amount on you, would this not affect the other people in your family? Like, will your family, your siblings be stranded because of your study abroad journey? They want to just be assured that there's adequate funds, not just for you, which is one thing that people forget when they are preparing for this study abroad journey. They're only focused on themselves. They don't know that during the interview, the view is also focused on wherever that money is coming from and how that is going to impact the source of that money. So if your study abroad journey is going to incapacitate the whole family, then chances are that your visa might be denied. So when they're asking, the next question they might ask is, what does your siblings do? So let's say maybe, okay, the viewer is thinking, okay, this person, maybe the father is okay, they have 5 siblings, but let me ask them to see maybe the other siblings can take care of themselves. They're just trying to know that that money that is going out will not affect any other person in the family, which I mentioned earlier. So when they ask you what your siblings are doing, that is what they are looking for. What business do they really have with your siblings if you have 30 siblings? No, the only relationship is that how does that finance, how does your bank statement, how does the funding of your master's or your PhD or your BSc program affect your siblings? So if you're saying you have 5 siblings, for example, and then 3 of them are already working, so you'll be like, okay, 3 of my siblings are I have 5 siblings, 3 of them are working at a Fortune 500 company. I'm the second to the last, and I'm going for my master's program. My the last child in the house is in high school, so right now everybody's focused on my study abroad journey, because that's my future goal, so that I can go to the United States of America, get my master's in cybersecurity, and come back to Nigeria to become a professor as well. So that is you trying to say that, okay, fine, I have 5 siblings, but 3 of them are okay, they are sorted, nothing is happening, but I'm the next in line, I'm the one that is going for my master's. The other person that would have been an issue is in high school. They know that high school in Nigeria is not that expensive, except you are living in big cities where it is super expensive. So yeah, that is on the side. But maybe you can even include something like, oh, she's in a public secondary school, and that's something that you can just chip in, so that they know that you are not going to make everybody just forget their dreams or their goal because you are going to the United States of America. Does that make sense? So the next question that can relate to showing proof of funds. God, I know I'm going to mix this a lot in this video, like mix it up, like proof of funds, proof of ties to your home country, but ignore that. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So the next question to expect is, how do you intend to fund your studies? Now this one is direct. The other questions I mentioned were not. So there are 2 questions that are direct. Who is your sponsor? Who is sponsoring you? That one is direct because it's all also, tied to funding, and that is a question you must expect. I think I should make another video on the maybe top 5 questions to expect, that you must expect during your interview. So if you want that video, let me know in the comments. If I don't see anybody commenting on that, I will not make that video. But if you think you need it, you want to be better prepared, let me know as well. So the second question that is direct, that they will just ask you, and you know that, okay, these people want to know if I have proof of funds, if I have the money, adequate funding for my program, is how do you intend to fund your studies? So that one is direct. But when they're asking you, what does your father do? How many siblings do you have? What does your siblings do? All those ones are not direct. You will not understand the intent, why they were asking you that question, because there's nothing like money related to it. At that point, most people think that when they're asking you about your siblings, they just want to know things about you. Nobody is interested in coming to know your family history. No, everything is geared towards ensuring that you deserve that visa, okay? And funding is a critical part of that decision. So have that and have wisdom and have, save yourself a lot of headache. So now when they ask you this question, how do you intend to fund your studies? You just simply tell them how you intend to fund your studies, because I have a sponsor. My sponsor is my uncle. He is a businessman. He does importation and exportation of luxury cars, and so he's been the one financing my education since when I was in secondary school, or since when I was in primary school, or he's been my guardian since when I was in primary school, or since my undergraduate days at the university. And he has also provided an affidavit of support to show that he's willing to support my program in the United States of America for the duration of time. So that's how you intend to fund it, because you have a sponsor. That's the only way you intend to fund it. But if you have to, maybe somebody is sponsoring you, and then maybe you are sponsoring yourself, and your family is also participating in that sponsorship, you can say that, okay, I intend to fund my studies via the support of my family and my personal savings. I currently have a savings of $25,000, and my family would be making that up with an additional $15,000, which would result to $35,000 needed for the first year expenses of my stay in the university, or needed for the 2 years of my stay in the university in the United States of America. So I would not have any financial challenge while in the United States, but I would be focused on my education so that I can do exceedingly well and make my family proud, and come back to Nigeria to implement what I have learned, or take up a position at Central Bank of Nigeria, something like that. So that's how you answer such questions, and that's how they can, because at every point in time, funding and strong ties to your home country they go hand in hand. In my video where I talked about I can't remember one of the videos, but I'll link it here. I mentioned that there are questions that you don't have to answer. You must always answer them and link them to your home country, because you want to, at every point in time, let them know that you're coming back to your home country. Don't worry, I'm going to make a different video about how you can show strong ties to your home country. So, I'll explain more in that video, but you can watch the videos that I talked about here and you'll be fine. So now let's move on to the type of fund that is needed. I've seen a couple of videos where people say, okay, yes, this is the kind of fund you need, you don't need this type. Let me be honest. Now, the kind of fund you need actually is any liquid fund, like any fund, cash that is easily accessible. That is a liquid fund. So when they say liquid fund and you get confused, don't get confused. What is liquid fund? Liquid cash or asset refers to cash on hand, or an asset that can easily be converted to cash, right? So if anything can be easily converted to cash, you're fine and you have that. So what are these things that can easily be converted to cash? You have cash on money. So you remember it's cash on hand. Whatever you have, if you have dollars, then you're fine. That's cash on hand. Then if you have your bank statement, your bank account, because there's money, there deposit accounts, all those things. Yes, because you can go back to the bank and say, okay, I want to withdraw my money. Is it not my money? It's not by force. You take your money, that's your money. Then stocks. I know people say don't go with stocks, but stocks, people sell stocks, whether it is going down or not. But the point is, can it easily be converted to cash? Can it easily be can you sell it off easily? Is the ownership transferable easily? And stock, of course, it's easily transferable. Ownership can be transferred. And again, there are 3 factors to consider. So if they match these things, then you're fine. One is how established the market is a factor. How easily ownership is transferred is a factor. How long it takes to be sold or liquidated. So if your whatever it is you have meet these three criteria, like the ownership can be easily transferred, they can be liquidated or sold at any point in time, which stock falls into that category, so you're fine. So if you have those things, bonds, if you have treasury bills, if you have because those things can be easily sold off. The point is, if the more like bank account statements that have enough funding you have, the more cash on hand that you have, the better, because those ones will sort of tell them that, okay, regardless of anything, regardless of me having this sort of property, this is money that I can easily just go and withdraw and I have it, instead of me thinking about the time it would take me to sell off my stocks or anything like that, even though it can be so. But that does not eradicate them from the category of liquid cash or liquid asset. Does that make sense? So just to clear the air on that, because I feel like most times people are beginning to confuse you, and then you'll be like, it's only bank statement. No, don't. I went for my visa interview with even an asset declaration from my sponsor, so just go with it. It even made my case very solid, because I had a bank statement, but I still had an asset declaration that was I'm talking about big money. I'm not talking about 100 million, I'm talking about big money. So if you have such things, go with them and find a way to include it, because if you sell the house, it's still money. Whether you undersell, it is still money. And can you use that money to support yourself in your study abroad journey? Of course, yes. So now that we know the kind of type of fund that you need, let's move on to how much fund do you now need. Now, there's no formula to this. There's no right or wrong answer to this, but I just want you to have this mindset of, okay, I'm traveling to Lagos. Let's say you are in Delta State and you're traveling to Lagos, and you're going to be in Lagos for 2 years. Now, if you're traveling to Lagos, you're going to think of accommodation. You're going to think of your living expenses when you get to so that accommodation falls into your living expenses, right? You're going to think of, maybe if you're going there to school, you're going to think of the school fees that you'll be paying, which is tuition, right? So you need to make plans for those things before you get to Lagos, right? So that's what this point is for. If you're going there, how much do you need? Whenever you're traveling for any trip, maybe it's 1 month, you already make a budget. This is how much it's going to cost you for that 1 month trip. If you've gone on group trips with friends and family, you should understand what I'm talking about. So it shouldn't be this complicated. Just see it as a trip. I'm going to to Abuja for 2 months. And what do I need to spend in Abuja? And sometimes most times when we're traveling, we'll add a little extra. So what I tell people is 1.5 is enough. So if your I-20 says you need $25,000, then your bank statement should be reflecting at least 1.5 of that value. So what that means is you need to have $25. Why am I saying $25? $25,000, then plus half of $25,000. So let me use a figure, because I don't want to crack my head. So let's say you need $20,000 as stated in your I-20. How much then do you have to reflect in your bank statement? So that will be $30,000, because you have 1 year $20,000 plus half the 1 year $10,000. So at least you should have $30,000. But if you have received, let's say, scholarship or funding, you can have $20,000 and then tell them that you also have some sort of funding. That should be fine. So but the least, just to be on the safe side, should be 1.5 times whatever amount is stated in your I-20. But if you have the means to increase it to 2 or 3 times, please go ahead and do it. I know people will tell you, okay, it's not about it. No, it is very key. They want to know that you have enough money to survive during your stay in the United States of America. So if your papa get money, I beg, put them, make times 20 self, put it. But if you know that you don't have that much, then do 1.5 multiplied by the amount that is stated in your I-20. So let's move on to the people that can fund you. Now, there are 6 people, sets of people that I have listed here that can actually fund your study abroad journey. The first key person or category is the university that you've applied to. Your university can fund you. They can give you some sort of funding in terms of like graduate assistantships. Remember, if you're going for your undergraduate program, you will not be You will not be given the graduate assistantship position because you need to be a graduate student. And even as a TA too, you need to be a graduate student before you can be a TA. I don't know if that's the case when I was there. So your school can fund you. They can give you research assistantship positions, GAs, RAs, and all of those things. So yeah, that is one way, or that is one person or one category of people that can fund you. Your family can fund you. So like I said, when I was giving one of the examples, I said if you want to fund yourself and your family is also being a part of that funding, then they can come along to fund you. Remember, that your family is funding you does not mean that they cannot fund you 100%. They can fund you 100%, but if you can also participate in funding yourself, you are also fine. Your close relatives can also fund you. By this I mean your aunties, your uncles, your nieces and nephews. They can fund you. Your cousins, they can fund you because maybe they believe in you. They've seen you've been of assistance to them one way or another, or even not, but they can as well fund you. You can fund yourself, to be honest, if you have all the money. I remember one interview I had with I can't remember his name again, but he stated that he at first he went there, he said he was going to fund himself. So you can easily fund yourself if you have the money. I mean, if you're 40 years old and you're saying your family is funding you, it does not make sense. So of course they expect that you would have started working, but your family can sponsor you, then you can add up a little. So organizations can fund you. People do not say these things a lot, but do you know that organizations can fund you? Let me explain. Like maybe an NGO in Nigeria can fund you. Maybe an association. Let's say you're an Urobo. I have Association of Urobo in Lagos, and you have this project, and you reach out to them. Please, this is my need. I need sponsorship. They can fund you. They might not fund you entirely, but they can also maybe fund your flight tickets. They can fund your accommodation for 3 months. They can fund a certain aspect of your education. So don't sleep on any of these things that I'm telling you. People do not mention it, but you can reach out to these people for some sort of sponsorship or grant. Then your community can fund you. I don't know why people sleep on this as well. If you're somebody that's been giving back to the society, giving back to your community, you've been helping the community in one way or another, they can decide to pick up your case because they've seen how useful you are to the community. And again, there are oil companies in certain communities, especially if you're in the south part of Nigeria. You have like all these oil communities, and so on a certain occasion, they give scholarship to indigenes of the community where they are milking or producing oil from. So if you are from that kind of community, the community itself can sponsor you through those organizations, or the community itself can just go ahead and sponsor you if they have such amount, or they've seen that you are of use to them. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about is the duration of fund. How long should that money be in the account? Now, the website states that, I'm going to be dropping useful links in the description, so please ensure that you click the links in the description. And if you also want, to book a consultation with me, I'm open to that. Click the link in my description to book a consultation. And if you want to join my Study Abroad Masterclass, which is starting this August, please also click the link in my description to join. On the website, it says that you need to tender a bank statement that is at most 6 months old prior to your visa interview. So let's say you're going for your visa in and I've talked about this in one of my videos, but let's say your visa is in December, so you need to count 6 months before the visa month, and then that's how long the money. But if you have more, it's better, because there should be some sort of inflow and outflow going in and out of that account. The more it looks like there's a transaction ongoing in that account, the better for you. So let's talk about the documents needed. I've already mentioned in my video the documents you need for your visa application process, right? And in that video I stated all the documents you need. I talked about the visa documents, I talked about your financial documents, and that's what I am, that is what this place is for. So go watch that video so that you know the financial documents you need when you are going for your visa interview. Then the next thing, the only thing that maybe I didn't mention in that video would be community support letter. So let's say that the community is supporting you, then they should also provide you with a community support letter. So yes, that's what you need. So let's move on to the secrets to answering proof of funds questions. So one thing that people fail to realize is this: remember when you've applied to a school and then the school has offered you an admission, and after the admission you want your I-20, they will ask you to make an initial deposit or not. Most times they ask you to make an initial deposit, and then they'll also ask you to send in an affidavit of support or a bank statement that would also show, by law they are required to ask you to provide that to show that you have the fund to foot your bill in the US. So when you send them a bank statement, most times people just send that bank statement. They are not interested because they just send it because they want the I-20 to be sent back to them. And so when you receive your I-20, when you're going for your visa interview, when you're applying for your visa, you forget that you've already used a different a different bank statement when you were sending it to the school. And then when you go for your visa, you take a different bank statement. Guys, please, if you are doing such, ensure that there's a reason and be prepared to answer that question, because that can be a red flag, because they also know that some people just buy or rent or use whatever just to ensure that they leave the country. So that can be something that would hinder your chances of getting your visa approved. So ensure that you're doing the right thing. When they ask you, when you're preparing or you're starting your visa journey, already know the person that will sponsor you. Already start talking to that person, have that conversation, so that that bank statement is the same thing that you're going to send during to the school and for your visa. But if there's a reason why you need to add another bank statement, please be prepared to also answer that question during your visa interview. Then again, another tip is for you to always prove the relationship with your sponsor. So know your 3 whys. Who is your sponsor? When they ask you who is sponsoring you or who is your sponsor, answer the 3 whys. Who your sponsor is, what he does for a living, and why he's sponsoring you. Now, if your sponsor is in the United States of America, please, this is my advice to you. Do not go ahead and start saying my sponsor is in the United States of America. Until you are asked, don't answer that question. But still go ahead and answer these 3 whys. These 3 W's. Who is your sponsor? Who your sponsor is, what he does for a living, and why he's sponsoring you. All right. So again, the last tip that I'm going to give to you will be that answer all your questions with confidence. When it comes to money, it's like when you go to Onitsha market, these people, they will convince you, they'll say everything possible to ensure that you buy that pants, that you buy that jean, that you buy that top. When they've said, they preach heaven and earth, you buy it, you get home and discover that, oh my God, why did I even buy this thing, for Christ's sake? Do you understand? So that's the same confidence you have to assume when you are at the embassy. Please answer, because anything about money, you need to be careful. You need to show them that you know what you're talking about. And that confidence is very key in this area. So don't act like you are not even sure of what you're saying. Please be bold. Remove every nervousness. Just see that this is, your life, your future, and when you do all of these things that I have said, you should be able to prove your ties, show proof of funds that are adequate to sponsor your program in the United States of America. So guys, this is the end of this video. I hope this video was helpful, and if you learned something, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. If you have any questions for me to answer, feel free to also ask me in the comments. And if you have any other video ideas or any thing you want me to make, let me know in the video in the comments as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my Telegram community, subscribe to my mailing list, subscribe to my channel, book a consultation with me if you need one, so that I can guide you in your study abroad journey. Join my study abroad Genius Masterclass, where I'll guide people, help them find schools, teach them how to find funding, how to navigate their life, how to get good grades, and everything in between. So join the wait list for the August opening, because admission season is upon us. So yes, click the links in my description down below and you see everything that I am talking about. Okay, so also check through my channel for other videos that I have mentioned in this video as well, because I believe they will be very helpful to you. So now guys, on that note, this is the end of the video, and I'll see you again in my next video. And until then, I remain Valin Ose, and I pledge to never give up, and I hope that you do the same. Bye bye.